Welcome back to Y&R For Life, where we talk about all things Young and the Restless related. At least I talk about it. I give you my predictions, what I think is, think about what has happened. I may even talk about some fashion, you know, things of that nature. So if you're new to this channel, hi, how you doing? And it would be so kind of you to, if you like this kind of content, to smash that like button and subscribe. Hit that bell notification so that you don't miss a single video of what I put out. So we're going to get into it. It's been a doozy. I mean, the beginning part, we're going to end off like the week and you'll see what's coming. So disclaimer, once again, if you don't want to know what's going on, you've missed a bunch of episodes, and again, you don't want any spoilers of what has occurred, this may not be what you want to watch. But if you want to know, then watch. Let's go. Let's do this. Okay. So when last we saw about Phyllis and Summer. They met at the park because Phyllis surprised Summer at the park. Summer looked like she of course seen a ghost. And it was like, Mom, is that really you? And, Phyllis with the look on her face, yes, baby, it's me. Anyway, so Phyllis decides that she's going to confess everything. I mean, she's not leaving anything on the table. Prior to that, Summer wants to call up Daniel and give him the good news. And Phyllis was like, no. You can't do that. Because Daniel's basically a do-gooder. And, he's going to want to do the right thing. And he's been going through a lot with, with Lucy and Heather and whatnot. So can't trust him to keep this. You're the only person I trust, Summer. You're the only one. Like I said, Summer is Phyllis 2.0. She is like, that is her child. Anyway, so Summer listens to Phyllis and everything. Phyllis tells her how Jeremy, pressured her and, marrying him, and she ended up being fearful for her life because he had nothing to lose at that point, because again she wasn't considered dead and he was going to basically kill her. So once again she felt very fearful for her life. So she decides she's got to take matters into her own hands, and she basically kills him before he could even kill her. And, she tells Summer that she wrapped his body up in like a bed sheet. And I was wondering what that sheet was. I didn't know what it was, but I know it was crystal clean. There was no blood on that thing at all. And she, again, did him in. So I don't know. So again, she confesses all her sins, and she's like, Summer, I have to go away, but I'm telling you because I trust you. And, of course, Summer basically says, so Diane's innocent. And Phyllis is like, innocent? What do you mean she's innocent? She had to give her little 2 cents. And, it's because of her. All of this has occurred. She's not innocent. Well, that was almost like the whole episode, basically, with Phyllis and Summer and this whole, confession. Anyway, so we end up at, fast forward, Daniel comes to the park again. And I'm like, wait a minute. Did Summer spend the whole day at the park? Because at this point, it's nighttime. Like, it was dark. And so she thinks that she hears the rustling, and she just was like, Mom? Well, much to her surprise, it was Daniel. So he's like, yeah, so I came back to check on you. I'm thinking, I guess she was at the park the whole day. Like, that's weird. Anyway, like, whatever works, Summer. So he goes and he's like trying to talk to her. And the whole time he's talking to her, she's basically telling him, look, Mom's alive. She, like, so far for trusting, so much for trusting. Well, Mom's alive. Daniel's like, she a little loco. And he's not believing anything because he's like, yeah, Summer, I see Mom too, and I hear her too, and and she's like, no, I'm telling you, she's alive. Like, she was here. Like, we had a conversation. And Daniel's like, basically like, sure you did. Yeah, sure you did. Like, you might need some counseling, Summer. So everything that Summer said, everything that Phyllis had said to her, like, she's basically spewing this out to Daniel. And Daniel is thinking, my sister has officially lost her mind. Like, that's what he's thinking. And yeah, he's like, let me take you home. And he kind of drags her out because he thinks she's crazy. And I get it, like, you assume that your mother has passed based on the events that occurred and what you saw. So what would make you feel as though, this is Daniel, make you feel as though Summer is saying something that is real? Like, you would think that whatever she's saying kind of doesn't make sense. Now, if you recall, Daniel had mentioned that he swears he saw Phyllis at the whole memorial service. He's like, there was somebody that looked just like her. Again, Phyllis has a distinctive look. The whole wig and glasses thing, but whatever. This is TV. It's so bland. I guess nobody was supposed to recognize the fact that Phyllis was actually there at her own memorial. But whatever. Anywho, so let's move on to, let's see, Tucker and Ashley. Man, that thing is hysterical. Tucker has me in stitches. So when last we heard, or we saw, Ashley was like, again, I'm not ready for you to leave. I'm not ready. Move in with me. So there goes Tucker. One little bag. He ends up at the Abbott estate. And he's like, well, if you were serious, I'm here. Oh, okay. Like, even their little smoochy kisses are kind of awkward. It's funny. At least I find it funny. Anyway, so he ends up there, and the whatever night it is, and then fast forward to the next morning. This is where I just about cracked right up. Tucker's hair, I can't even show you because I have no hair, but his hair was like all like the Bride of Frankenstein. Like, it was all over the place. I mean, hair going this way, straight up. It was funny. And he's there with a tray of tea and a single red rose in like some sort of, I don't know, vase. It was funny. And there's Ashley, stone cold dressed to go to the office. And he was like, well, I was going to serve you breakfast in bed. And she's like, well, you're going to have to wake up like a lot earlier to do that, And I'm like, yeah, you know what? Tucker really doesn't have a job. So he could afford to have his hair looking like this and try and serve tea. That was funny. What was even funnier was the fact that, again, there was the awkward kiss goodbye. What was even funnier was when Jack came toddling in to the living room, and Tucker's like, would you like some tea? Man, I like fell out. And Jack's look on his face was like, pardon? And yeah, that was funny. So nobody had the tea except, actually, it wasn't even tea, because then ended up, Tucker was like, some good coffee. I was like, wait a minute, when did it change from tea to coffee? Anyway, so Jack basically says to Tucker, let the record show. The only reason why you're here is because Ashley is just trying to stick it to me. That's basically what, Jack was saying. And, you know, we all know that, yes, Ashley is trying to stick it to Jack. But I do believe that Ashley, she is trying to totally play hard to get. Totally play hard to get. And again, I don't know why she's doing this, because I don't know. I wouldn't even be bothered with that. Again, I say, Ashley, stop it. Just tell the man if you want him. Oh, we're in separate rooms. In looking at that house, it really doesn't look like there's like that much space to have all those people residing there. But what do I don't? I don't know the lay of the land. It is what it is. But again, Tucker has his own room. Ashley has her own room. Apparently, it's like way yonder, and never the two shall meet. I don't know. So, Tucker ends up telling Jack, for what it's worth, I don't think Diane's fully responsible for what occurred. And Jack's like, what? So Jack basically says, he kind of just shrugs that off. And he basically tells Tucker, looky here. All I'm going to say is, this farce, whatever's going on, you being here, if you hurt my sister ever again, there's going to be hell to pay. Hell. Do you hear me? And Tucker's like, gotcha. Sure you don't want some coffee? And he's like, I'm just going to get coffee on my way in to the office. Fast forward to the office. Ashley arrives. Billy's there. And can somebody tell me, when did Billy officially start? Like, I know he was offered the position, but then next thing you know, he's there in a suit and tie, and he's doing the most, like way more than Jack has done, but he is doing the most. So we saw him when Kyle and they had their little altercation, and then now with Ashley. I mean, good for Billy. He's kind of delving into work, and more than toddling after Chelsea every little waking moment, because that was getting so annoying. Like, Chelsea, Chelsea, Chelsea. It was too much. So now Billy is sitting back. He's the voice of reason when it comes to Diane, and Ashley's like, it's because of her. Jabot is probably going to take a big hit, and we have to get in front of that. And Billy's like, whoa, 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 Ashley. I think you're kind of reading a lot into this, much more than you need to. And furthermore, Jabot has gone through worse situations. So I think we'll be all right. And she's like, really? Really? And it hasn't even gone to trial yet. And look at what we're having to do already. Like, so she basically wants to call a meeting of the board because she's like, Jack is distracted. He's not doing his work. And I'm thinking, okay, hold on, Ashley. You've been like 1 minute you're in Paris, the next minute you're here. Like, again, flip floppy. It's too flip floppy. And yeah, so I don't know if she wants to get Jack ousted. Um, hopefully not, but I mean, what would you do? Your fiance is being detained for a crime you know full well they did not commit, and you've got to run a conglomerate. Wouldn't you be a little bit sidetracked? I don't know. I understand that, you know, how Jack would feel. So, again, not that I've been in this situation, but anybody who would be in such a situation, I would get it. Like, you'd be totally distracted. But there goes Ashley. She's got to really try and stick it to Jack. Smiling Jack. So we'll see what happens where that's concerned. Okay. Now, before we get into, do I have to say his name? Sliminate. Let's go to Elena and Audra. Audra, who she is up to her own agenda, and she's been up to her own agenda from the time she entered into Genoa City. So there's Elena and Audra. I don't even know how they became best buds, but stranger things have happened. So they meet at the coffee house. And Elena's like, wee, you know, it's a great day and the sun is shining and, you know, it has the air that summer's almost here. And she's like, wee, my relationship is going well. And, you know, Nate asked me to go on vacation and he's told me that I could choose anywhere I wanted to go. And, you know, he wants to spend time just with me and focus on me after his business trip to LA. And meanwhile, Audra's like, she's just listening. And it got to the point where Audra was like, look at here, Elena. Did Nate happen to tell you that he was going to LA alone? Well, Elena's like, well, yes, he did. Um, Girlfriend, no. No, that's not the case. Well, he went with Victoria. Elena's like, pardonnez-moi? And Elena's like, yeah. The plan all along was for him to go to LA with Victoria. Well, actually, Victoria invited him. She's like, and this is Elena, are you sure? Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I'm so sure because I asked him to go to LA with him because he told me that he was getting away. But then he was like, no, I need you to hold down the fort for me. And, you know, I'll be attending LA with Victoria. She'll be there. So, of course, Audra, she listening. And, you know, the look on her face was like, okay. In her brain, more ammunition. I'm going to end up getting what I want. So she's like, is that right? Okay, no problem. So Elena, whoop, whoop, like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Elena's like, oh my gosh, he lied. So I'm an idiot. I fell for everything that he was saying. And like, I wonder how long he's been sleeping with her. Audra's like, well, hold on. Wait a minute. We don't know. We don't know for sure. Again, why Audra's, why she's trying to, you know, pacify this stuff, I don't know. So she's like, we don't have all the facts, but we don't know if he is or whatever. Meanwhile, she done heard the two of them getting hot and heavy in the office. Remember that? So she goes and she was like, yeah, he is a jerk. And this is Audra telling Elena this. Because now at this point, Elena is catatonic. She's like, robot. She ain't saying a word. She's, the wheels on the bus in her head were going, doo, 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 doo. She's trying to process this real quick. And, it was one of those moments where I could just see her just pulling off her earrings, just raising up her sleeves, cracking her, just getting ready to throw down. If she saw Slimy Nate in front of her, she was gonna just go off. And rightfully so. So, Audra's there going on he's such a jerk. And I can't believe that he has such a beautiful woman here. And he would go and try and mess this up. And, all this stuff. Well, by the end of it, Elena's like, basically, I may be mad, but I'm gonna get even, that kind of thing. And she's like, we need to find JT Hillstrom. Bravo, Elena. Bravo. I told you. I mean, Audra, she just had to, she just had to say it. I mean, would Elena have figured it out like I thought she would? Yeah, I think eventually, because Slimy Nate, he's just messy. But Audra, she handed everything to her on a silver platter. It was right there. So Elena came up to her own conclusions real fast. So let's push forward to LA. Slimy Nate and Victoria. So we see Nate sitting at a table, and he is, sitting there allegedly waiting for Victoria, I suppose. And he ends up text messaging her saying, I got a table, downstairs, whatever. So she ends up getting this text message and she replies, be down shortly. Now, into a little fashion. So Victoria's wearing this all black, black jacket, pants, suit, whatever. Remember I said, I really hope that, they'd put her in some nice power suits, like, CEO-ish suits. This wasn't one of them. This jacket had these like silver chains, like hanging off the, I don't know, it was hanging off the pocket on one side, on a right side. It was, like chains that you would hang on for jeans. It just, I didn't get it. It didn't look CEO-ish at all. And she goes into the mirror, and the music's playing, like the sensual, sexy music. And she looks in the mirror like she ready to just rip his clothes off, like even at the restaurant. Like she's thinking she's the cat's meow with her whole look. Anyway, so she goes down, she meets him at this said table, and he gets up, gentleman like, you know pushes in the chair for her, whatever. So the whole time she's talking about they're going to have dinner later in the evening with whichever company, whatever sales pitch they've got going on, and they think that they'll be able to nail it down. The whole time Nate's kind of like looking at her with this look of, ooh, baby, I want you. Like, oh my goodness. Like, I don't know if she was wearing some sort of perfume that just was wafting in his nose, and he just, again, I told you the feminine wiles. Like, I have no idea. But the look on his face was like, yeah, that's the catch right there. So somehow, um, she says something about, whatever notes it's in her room, and he's like, oh, well, we can go up to your room. Honey child, I don't even know if they made it quite through the door before they were ripping their clothes off. Man, I was like, this guy is disgusting. And she was all into it. Victoria was like, yes, honey, yes, I got me what I wanted. And he did not even, like, there was no look of, I shouldn't be doing this. I have this woman at home. The only thing we saw was when Nate went to go and text message Victoria at the beginning about him finding a seat, that Elena's picture was on his, his phone, like his screensaver. But didn't she look good on that screensaver? She looked good. I digress. That was the only thing. The whole time, like, and what just really grated under my skin the most. Yes, they did the nasty. They did it. And who knows how many times over. But was when the fact that now Victoria is in bed, just laying on his chest, his bare chest. And this dude goes and kisses her on the top of her head. I was like, pardon? Slimy Nate? So you really don't care, do you? And it's just like Elena said. Both of them are out for power. And it's just like, it's almost like a drug to him. Slimy Nate. Can we just get him off the show? Like, he bothers me. He just bothers me. I can't talk about him anymore. Not until maybe the next episode, if something occurs. But as for this episode, like, no, we're done. Slimy Nate, you've taken up too much of my time. Finally, I kind of feel bad for Michael and Lauren. Specifically Michael. Him and Lauren had their little luncheon, dinner, again, back at, let's just call it Neil's place. Because I can't remember what it's called. I really can't. I just can't. And Lauren is like, she is really giving Michael like a hard time about the fact that he's defending Diane. And she's saying that, you know, she killed their best friend. And how can he defend a woman who killed their best friend? And he basically is like, first of all, we don't know if this is the case. Second of all, everybody deserves a fair trial. We can't say anything, but she deserves that. And Lauren was not having it whatsoever. It got so bad that Lauren was like, I don't know if I'll be able to look at you ever again. And Michael was like, okay. Now, Y&R, please do not break up Michael and Lauren over this nonsense. Like, been there, done that again. Like, let's not go there again. Like, they're the one of the most, consistent couples, I'd say. They had the one-off scenario back in the day, but like, let's not break them up. Like, let's not do that. And, again, I felt bad for Michael, but at the end of the day, he's right. Everybody deserves a fair trial. And whether he knows if Diane did it or not, he has an obligation. And of course, Lauren was like, could have picked any other lawyer. They could have picked anybody else. Why you? I don't know. Like I said, there's only like 3 lawyers on the show. Cricket, Michael, and Amanda, if she happens to show up. Allegedly, Amani's a lawyer, but I has anybody seen her? She's irrelevant. She had her moment where she was trying to get Nate, but that just kind of fizzled out. Anyway, so there you have it, folks. That's pretty much been what's been going on. Not much to talk about. Like, the big thing was the unmentionable name. I'm not going to mention his name again. Not until I have to. And yeah. And Summer, like, losing her mind. But let's see what this week holds. Should be interesting. So once again, thank you guys for watching. It's been a blast. And don't forget, if you like this content and you love Y&R as much as I do, smash that like button and subscribe and hit that bell notification so that you don't miss a single episode of Y&R for Life. So thanks again, guys. See you next time. Bye.